Wow, man, I love that intro. Welcome back, Flatwork Kings. This is Danny Barrera. I am with two special gentlemen, founder of Flatwork Kings here, Will Mattingly. How's your day going, Will?
Awesome. Awesome,
Awesome.
Danny. Awesome to be here.
Great to have you here again, one more time, two in a row for us. And we have another special guest. I'm excited about this one, Mr. Kipp Lamberson, who's out in the trenches today in not sunny but winter Philadelphia. There, how's your day going, Kipp? Your
It's
evening, I
pretty
should
good,
say.
man. I pretty excited to be on this little podcast with you guys, man. It's pretty awesome. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. And look, we're here to just have a conversation and just be real. So I know a lot of people want to hear your story. Like, I posted that announcement and we're going to have Kipp. Man, you got a fan base out there. So I'm excited about this. The first thing I like to ask is get to know you a little bit better. So Kipp, I want to hear a little bit about you, like where you're from, your company, and how you got started in the business.
Uh, so I'm from Holton, Kansas, small little rural town there in northeastern Kansas area. Funny story. I actually worked for my foreman, who works for me now. Worked for his dad right out of high school for a couple of years, and learned a little bit about the trade, doing foundations and flat work and stuff with those guys, and then kind of moved out to Manhattan, Kansas, and started running crews out there, and just kind of been all over the world, to be honest with you. It's been little over 22 years now, and been in the concrete trade. Just turned 40 last May, so a little over half my life. It's starting to wear on me as it does many, but still grinding it out, trying to stick with it and keep pushing and bring my game up to some of these other guys' level if I can. It's pretty hard. There's a lot of talented dudes out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to say, before I give it over to Will, I want to say congratulations for having a great year. I've been following your story. By the way, you got a DCC award. What was the award for? You now we can call you an award-winning concrete contractor. So what do you got there?
Yeah, man, that was a pretty amazing deal because I talked with the guys. So that award was for a custom. It was in a furniture, concrete furniture class. And I was talking to the guys. We built a custom 62 or 3 feet river concrete bar for a local brewery back home. And we did one the year before, and they asked us if, we made it look like a huge tree that had been cut in half and set in their original brewery. So they were building the second one, and they asked if we could do something else cool. And I said, well, yeah, I mean, what do you want to do? We can do it, And so I talked to my wife and said, I kind of want to enter one of our projects into that award there. And I don't really know what to enter. I see a lot of talented guys out there, and it was pretty humbling to get nominated for that because there's so many good guys out, that some of them are a little bit older, and the social media is starting to be present in their area, and including myself. I'm not great at the social media part of it, I just like to go to work and build stuff, so really taking on the task of learning some of the newer young age. I mean, Instagram is new to me, right? The TikTok, I haven't been on that scene. It's tough for me to get into that stuff because I got so much stuff going on with the business, trying to run a business and, be a family man and make sure my guys are taken care of, but the award was awesome. It was a pretty surreal experience, to be there and see some of the best out there. And, we was able to sit with Bob and Leanne Harris, and that's always a pleasure being around those guys. Casey Selman, he took home the stamped overlay class, on that. And there's so many people there, and just kind of getting into this decorative side of stuff to meet so many contractors to create a networking base has just been a huge blessing to me to help advance my knowledge on this stuff and to be the best I can be, you know? So
Yeah.
pretty cool.
That is cool. Yeah, that's a cool story, Kipp. And I did see pictures from that event. It looked really fun, and saw you guys sitting together. You know, almost brought a tear to my eye. I was I was pretty dang proud, man, to see all those faces that are so familiar to all of us. You know, that's a good
Yeah.
group there.
Yep. A lot of work went into that thing, man. I got a lot of photos in there that didn't all make the cut, but I mean, at one point in time, I had one of our big floor grinders on top of this bar, 800-pound grinder plus 250-pound dude. I mean, it was a nightmare doing it, but it was pretty awesome, the experience to do something like that. So it's pretty cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. One question I have in mind here is, with all the talent, all the experience, man, when did you decide to go out into the marketplace and become a business owner, go from the actual, being in the trenches on the back end of things to now saying, hey, man, I want to do something for myself here and build a business? When did that transition happen for you?
So I lived in Georgia for a number of years. I actually went out there to go to helicopter flight school. I'm never doing construction again. I'm done with this. And that didn't take very long to get back. I flew helicopters and got some time and some ratings, flying those, but I was also making money by doing construction. And I ended up meeting my wife out there. And she's been a blessing, that just kind of changed my life and made me kind of take better steps to be a better person, every day. So that's pretty cool. And I was working for a commercial company as a foreman out there, doing restoration, waterproofing, brick, masonry, concrete work. And, we just weren't seeing eye to eye. And I one night came home and told my wife that I was thinking about moving back to Kansas. And we were engaged at this time, and I didn't really know what she would think about moving to little rural, hometown Kansas, population 4,000, something like that. I mean, and surprisingly, she was, pretty open to it. She'd been home with me 2 or 3 times, and she's like, yeah, let's do it. I mean, had all the faith in the world with me about it. So I was pretty stoked, and I got a hold of a couple people that heard that I was talking about moving back home. They're like, hey, you come back home, I got some jobs, maybe you want to do. And I'm like, sure, let's do it. Here's when I'm kind of thinking about doing it. And so 2013 in October, loaded up the moving van, and I said goodbye to all my buddies that I made in Georgia, and my dad flew down, surprised me, helped me load the stuff up, and moved home. And that was it. I had a little LLC or sole proprietorship when I was in Georgia doing some flatwork stuff, on the weekends and stuff, make extra money, but nothing full time since this deal in 2013. And some days I wonder if it was the right move to make, pull my hair out, some days, but I truly love what I do, and that keeps me going and moving forward, trying to learn and hone my craft and meet guys that I can learn from and help them if I can, and it's something that I would never change the experience in the world, because it's something that's helped me kind of, step into a new part of my life, man. And it's kind of cool to see where I started and kind of where I'm at now, and where I'm headed, or where I'm planning to head for the future, so.
Yeah. So everybody, a lot of people watching know who you are, and you're a very humble guy. You say you're not big on social media, but a lot of us do follow you on there, follow Lamberson's stories, and see you guys out there kicking butt every day. What's it like for you said you're from a town of 4,000 people, and I remember when I first started talking to you, you were really stressing that to me. You were like, "Will, I don't think you get it, man. I'm in a small area, man." Clearly, you still have been able to find the work. Um, tell some of these guys that are probably watching that are from a smaller town or maybe outside of a big city, what was that like for you? I mean, is it any easier today than it was in 2013 for you?
Oh man, you know, I didn't have the social media platforms when I first moved home like I do now. And if you could, and I don't have the same phone, in this trade, keeping a good phone. My screen's cracked right now on this one that we're having the podcast. But, when you, particular myself, when I started this business, man, I moved home and all I had was a hard work ethic, and I had belief in myself, and I knew that I've won at every single thing I've ever put my head down to. And, I give a lot of that credit to my family, for how I was brought up and hard work, and you don't get it for free. Right. And so,
No.
I took every job I could, when I moved home. And small area, I did old school stuff, a way of advertising, where I would run little jingles on the radio, our hometown late. I'd be sitting in there with my dad thinking I was super cool, listening to this. I'm like, hey, listen to this. We'd be just cutting it up. We did Duck Commander. I did a little ad like those guys at one time, just trying to be funny to catch people's attention. I'd run little ads in the newspaper. It was tough, and I'm not going to say that it was easy, because it wasn't, but I knew it's what I wanted to do. And I knew that I wasn't going to quit until I knew, the writing was on the wall, that it was not going to work out. And I think part of that is the struggle's real, and I firmly believe that everybody struggles, no matter what it is, whether you're a billionaire doing something like this, or you're making $10,000 a year. Everybody struggles, man. Everybody has the same problems. And I believe that if you believe in yourself and you keep grinding it out, we're year 8, just over year 8 of full-time business. And it's been rough, but it's been good. I've been humbled by a lot of stuff. I've had a lot of failures that when I was raised by my father, that, a handshake and your word, that's what it is. And I've kind of held that up, when people talk to me about stuff, we had problems, whatever it may be. I just look at them and, part of the stuff that we talk about, Will, with contracts and stuff, I still don't have a crazy contract, because I just tell people, if it fails or something goes wrong, just call me. I'm going to fix it, and that goes a long way with where I'm at locally. We've had some pretty big jobs, have some failures, and I just go in there and I fix it, and obviously you can't do it on every job when it's not your fault. But I put myself in them customers' shoes, we're not the cheapest person around anymore, because I value the quality of work that I feel like we're putting out now. We've grown substantially through going to trainings and classes and meeting other members of different groups, and learning and so I value what we do, and I want to give somebody a good product. So when those failures happen, I know how much it is to save money and how hard it is to acquire that money. And a lot of people work their ass off for that. And I want to make sure they're taken care of. So, I think that word of mouth that we stand behind our work and problems, I think that goes a long ways with us and being busy, and I'm pretty proud of that. So,
and for those listening, you've obviously had a background in commercial and walls and those things, but you do primarily decorative work now in your local area.
Yep.
And like you just said, you've been able to train go to trainings, technical trainings, get your guys learned up on, a lot of different things, whether it's countertops or you've been doing fire pits and crazy, benches and
Yep.
just some awesome stain jobs and just really cool different stuff. And I know that ever since I've talked to you, and I'm sure this goes for everybody watching, that you're a man of your word, which you just stressed, and I think that's big in business, and you really have to have a sense of integrity.
Yeah.
And it's easy to lose sight of that, right? Because you feel like, oh, I need to get on to the next job, and there's always the next job. You feel like that lure is there for a little bit in your career, and then when you mature and get out of that, you realize that you're only as good as this job you're on.
That's right. Yep.
And I think, and you've helped me, remember that from time to time. You'll send me a picture of something and say, man, I think I'm going to rip this out. And I look at it and go, man, I don't know, man. There's some different, you can reseal it or whatever. You're like, nah, we're tearing it out, man, because that's just the way you are, that's a respectable.
I try to bump that reasoning off of my foreman, man. He's been another blessing that came, and we talked about some of the stuff that happened in 2021, but man, I've been blessed in the years in business, and
yeah,
some of that topic right there, I'll be looking at a job just nitpicking because I want to be the best, that I can be, for my knowledge and my skill set. And I'm not the best. I know that, but I'm trying to get better. Right. And so,
yeah.
I'll ask him, what do you think? He's like, it looks pretty good, boss. I'm like, man, I don't know. I just, and I asked my wife, when she looks at stuff, what do you think? She's like, I don't see what you're talking about, but I don't know. I've kind of always been that way where I want it to be perfect. I want everybody to see what I see, and the way I take a picture, the way I talk about it, how we do our work. And so, I mean,
and it seems like you've always been one to go out of your way, kind of like last night with Gaetano, how he said he's watching YouTube and just constantly wanting to see what's going on out there and what's the next best way to do something, not only for efficiency's sake, but just for quality of the job. It seems like you've always been on the hunt, willing to drive, across state lines to learn something new. And, that's what I believe Flatwork Kings is all about, and that's
big time.
Yeah. You've been a staple in this community for that reason. And not only that reason, but, you've been a good example for a lot of us in that regard. So, now you came to the last Flatwork Kings event in Nashville.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And what were some of the things that you kind of took back with you? Think did any of that change kind of your cadence when you went back a little bit, or?
Yeah. There was so many things talked about there that it was overwhelming, the guys that were speakers there. It's just incredible. Like I said, I mean, I feel like I'm low man on totem pole compared to some of these guys, and just their knowledge that they have. I mean, I've been in the trade for a long time, but just to go to some of these seminars, some of the trainings, when I moved home, we didn't do decorative full time. So when I moved home, first couple years until Aaron come to work for me, we had a hard conversation. So, well, how are we gonna be the best in our area? We either going to struggle the next 20 years to try and be the best, or we're going to start going to all these trainings where all these elite guys are, and we're going to try and pick up some tips so we can be better, right? Well, Flatwork Kings, man, was just completely filled with those guys there. And the guys that were in the audience, man, were incredible. Like, everybody got to mingle and hear and talk. And if you're in construction trade in general, everybody has their story. When I walk around with my wife, I'm staring at the concrete, looking at it, telling her about it. When I'm walking around with my wife, I'm looking at the drywall, the sheetrock, the plumbing, the framing. Every construction person that I know of is that way. And at Flatwork Kings, dude, the conversation was about a problem someone had or a badass job they turned out and was super proud about it. And man, there's a love there that anybody, I feel like that has that same mentality. If you're not part of it already, the Flatwork Kings, or coming to the one that's coming up in February, you're missing out big time, because there's just in the past, the knowledge that you missed on that, but the connectivity with all the members that are there, that
that's
I've
huge.
bumped so many ideas off so many guys that I've met at these trainings, like, hey, I kind of know you're specialized in this, what's your thoughts on this? Will this work or will this not work? Here's where we are. And super helpful. Everybody's friendly, trying to help each other. And that's what it's about, man. Trying to make the industry grow, in my mind. And as far as running the business side, that was the hardest for me, because I can work in the field, just relentless, but managing and running a business is a whole nother animal. And that is where I've spent the last 3 years, trying to hone that part of my business so I can be better and take care of my company and my guys, most importantly, that work for me, to give them a safe place to know, hey, we got work lined up. We're doing good. We're going places. This ain't the stop yet. We're going to the top, and I took away so much from that. I'm wishing it was already Flatwork Kings convention right now, man, be honest, because it's just, you get chills when you get invited, or you get signed up for these classes, because I'm going to be around a bunch of people that think about the same stuff I do with that stuff, and I know I'm going to succeed when I walk away from there at something new, maybe more than one, but something.
Now that's been a special byproduct. I don't know if it's by intention or not, but just the camaraderie and the networking aspect of it almost supersedes anything else. I mean, just the fact that you could have somebody one text away or one phone call away at any time, and so on. And I know that you've, being in a small town, also you could struggle with having employees, and attracting that help. Obviously, the labor pool is smaller, and you've had, you and I have gone back and forth for years about that for both of us. And it seems like you've kind of hit your stride a little bit lately. You've got a couple of good key players in your company. Like you said, you got a right-hand man, and tell us a little bit about how that helped you in 2021. Do you think you kind of had enough help for once?
We had we've got the same 2 guys for Aaron been with us over 5 years, and Colton been with us over 3 years now. We had a younger guy fresh out of school, needing a job, and you never know what to expect when you go into that. He worked with us all summer long, went back to college. He's kind of unsure about what he wants to do. I would never want to hold him back. I told him, well, super smart dude. I mean, you get a breath of fresh air sometimes with certain employees, and this young kid showed up, eager, hungry. I'm like, man, you're going to fit right in with us, because running a shovel isn't very easy, buddy. He worked his butt off, and he learned well from Colton and Aaron. He took direction really well. It's funny because he left the college, and everybody's like, man, I wish that he wouldn't have left, but who knows? Maybe one day, he'll come back and work with us. I don't know. Colton's brother ended up reaching out to us back in August, and Alex wanted to change. He was setting walls, and I know what he was going through. It's tough. It's tough on your body doing foundations. I did them for a long time, and so did my lead guy. And he wanted a job, and when he come to work, he was experienced. He's a hard ass worker, and he's someone that I never had to say one time anything to him about when we're rodding concrete. He was just, his raking skills was unreal. And I'm looking back like at Aaron going, man, we haven't had to stop rodding the concrete off one time, and it's just Alex over here, It's just and also there was just 4 of us at this time, and we're laying down big floors, stamped stuff for us, for 4 guys. And went into those jobs really confident because we were all four at this time finishers. And so you didn't have one lead guy and then a bunch of hard workers that wanted to help but just didn't have the experience, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty good to finish up the last quarter of the year, to have all four finishers, you know, on the crew, and that was pretty great, you know.
That feels good, I'm sure. Yeah. So going back to what you were saying earlier about charging what you know you're worth, I know that's a loaded potato, but I think that's probably one of the proudest moments that most of us get to, right? You know, you finally hit this point in business where you're like, you know, I don't need to be the cheapest guy anymore. You know, I'm going to go to this estimate, and you want the job if it fits your criteria, right? But sometimes when you're new in business, or maybe you're trying to get your foot, trying to get started, right? You want to get jobs so you can get some referrals and kind of build that local network. But you tell us a little bit about kind of where you're at now, and expound on that a little bit in terms of like kind of your mentality when you're bidding these jobs, and how you don't have to tell us your prices or anything, but just kind of what goes through your mind when you're bidding a job, and what are some of the the criteria that you look for a good job.
Oh man. So first I would say that a lot of times when I bid it, I always question my price, you know, but in the back of my mind, one of the takeaways from the Flatwork Kings is value. What do you value your work at? Because in any form of it, it's something special, and you're building or doing something that is a specialized trade, just like a doctor, a lawyer, or anybody. I mean, we're specialized in what we're doing, right? It really changed my way of thinking from the last network, the Flatwork Kings network event that we had, just to listen to a lot of the guys that were in the top on how they ran their business, how they estimated, the things they talked about, perception of value of your business. What do you think it's worth? What do you think your quality work is? And I put that stuff on paper. I still break everything down. Yeah. I want to know, here's what I pay my guys. We beat our bodies up every day to do this craft. It is hard. It's grueling, and I pay them pretty good for our area, right? And that means something to me. Is taking care of them, So the things I think about when I bid that stuff is, am I going to give them the service that they're, paying for? And that goes back to my word and having integrity in the work that we do. And I feel like we do that pretty well. I think that we give people a good quality product for what we're charging for them. And I'm not, I would say not there, but I'm kind of there where I'm starting to get to the point where I'm not grabbing all those jobs like I would before. And I still want them. As a lot of people do, I look at them and go, man, I love doing that stuff, but my crew right now, like, we're skilled in this and this and this. Yeah. And this is where our speed is. That's where most of us make a lot of our money, Yeah. I've turned down a lot of jobs this year that I hated telling people no, because I love every aspect of this concrete game, no matter what it is, from digging a trench to stamping a pad to doing an overlay, and we do everything. And I wanted to know how to do this stuff. So we went to classes, we learned, but as far as the business goes, it's been pretty cool to know that I can say no to this job or that job, and we still have people calling us for work, So yeah, it kind of lets me know that one, we're either cheap, which I don't think that we are. I feel like, price versus some of our competition in our area, that we're right in there. Or two, we're doing really good work and people are liking what we're putting out. So that's pretty nice to know.
Yeah. So we got Casey coming in here. He says his hometown is similar size to Holton, where you're from, and it's not unusual to travel up to an hour from home for the job. What are you doing to try to keep that work inside of that radius? Are you doing anything unique to try to attract work that's 30 minutes from home or 20 minutes or right down the street even?
You know, I've just kind of come to accept that our travel may be 10 minutes across our little town, or it might be an hour. And to be honest with you, the last probably 3 years, I've just chased the decorative side of it because I have so many years of doing the flat work and the walls, the broom stuff, and I love it. There's nothing wrong with it. But I wanted to just dive head first into the decorative. And boy, have I.
Yeah.
But that's I got to chase the work, man. And I think what I've kind of talked about with the guys is maybe some different market strategies, with maybe some people just don't even know we exist right now, which I haven't, other than posting pictures of our jobs the last couple of years, I haven't, ran ads. I haven't done and it's an ad, I get that, but I haven't, ran banners. I haven't put stuff out in the paper. I haven't done stuff on radio ads. We haven't done a home show in 2016, I think, was the last home show we did.
Yeah.
And I have crazy ideas, wanting to do some wild, just off the wall carving and stamping and this, that, and the other, but you only have so many days. But I think that maybe one day we'll be able to do a home show and just do something just to wow our local community for what we do, and so I don't really know at this point how to shorten up our radius. I've thought about it several ways, but I haven't found that yet, Casey. So as you know, when you came up and visited us, man, it's pretty rural out there, but it doesn't bother me much driving, I guess, to the answer to that point. The guys get paid to and from anyway, so I don't know if it bothers them much, but I'm going to where the work is,
Yeah. Okay.
We do have a handbook.
All right. Let's talk about it.
You want to talk about that, man?
Well, aside from Kipp's size and stature, that's the starting point of the handbook. After that, if you're not afraid, you get the real handbook.
Yep.
Right.
I leaned on the lady that's helped me bring my business to a next level. She did our books and our accounting and taxes stuff, and she's a really good friend of ours, my wife and I, and her and her husband, and she, I begged and pleaded, like, hey, I think I need to build a handbook. I got to have some kind of protocol for everybody to follow. And, she gave me a crazy look, like she's done many times, because I asked her these favors, like, hey, can you help me? Cause I have no idea what I'm doing here. And, so we built one. We kind of put together some stuff based off other handbooks for other companies that are out there, the normal that people I know have to do, to build what tailors to your company, your business. Mm-hmm. Something for me, man, is I want my guys to feel like it's family, like you're not just coming and you're a number, on my chain. You're not, I know what stuff you like to do, I know the things that you enjoy doing after work, after hours, and all the guys that work for me have families, except for the young kids in the summertime. But, I want it to feel family oriented, but you have to have structure at the same time. Yeah. And, that was tough for me when I was running crews. No big deal, hey, get your ass over here. Let's get to work, this, that, and the other. But when you own the company, man, it's, you take on a different appreciation for people that work for you. And, my caring about them kind of changed on how I wanted to to talk to them and treat them, you know. And so the handbook helped get everybody on the same page of here's what I expect out of my employees, and I want you to know that you can expect this out of me too, you know. And it's an open book, man, right now. It really is, because I'm constantly thinking of things that we're going to make, you know, changes for this coming year. And it's tough, man, you know. And like I said, you know, I look at the guys who work for me like family. So, you know.
So you know, like you said, I mean, kind of drawing that line between, you know, hey, we're all professionals at the beginning of the day. You know, you mentioned earlier, like a doctor or like a lawyer, you know, and I can imagine doctors coming into the hospital, everybody's friends. They probably know each other real well too. But at the end of the day, they have, you know, they have an obligation to the hospital or to the patient. In our case, it's the customer, you know. So
Yeah.
I've always learned that, you know, those handbook type of things, you know, like you said, give it a little structure. Your customer comes out, and you work with a lot of homeowners. They come outside and they see, you know, a lot of the same of what they're expecting to see, you know. So yeah. So what, you know, it's conveniently here, you know, early January. You have any New Year's resolutions or anything company wise that you want to shoot for this year? Or are you going for 100% decorative jobs, or what's going through your mind right now for this upcoming season?
That's a loaded question right there, I think, man.
No.
Kind of give my secrets out, huh?
Oh, no. Don't tell us any secrets. Just, you know, I didn't know if you wanted to grow your hair out or what you were thinking for this year.
Oh, man. So I've been kicking around the idea of getting into building pools. I've had a fascination with them for 10 plus years, man. Maybe longer than that. And we run machinery all the time. I love operating equipment. Going back to the foundation days, you know, we've built some crazy safe rooms and storm shelters, you know. You know, I've been on military bases on high security clearance stuff where we're doing anti-terrorism stuff and crash walls and some cool shit there. And, you know, the digging and the building and all that. I've kind of mentioned that, hey, you know, would you be interested in this if we kind of tiptoe into that scene? And I think that there's a pretty big need or calling, you know, for pools in our area. And I love them. I mean, who doesn't enjoy water? Maybe not everybody, but I do. And we do pool decks. We stamp them. We've stamped some pretty big ones, you know, all the way up close to like 5,000 square foot stamped pool decks, you know. And if Casey's watching still, I got a couple projects. I'm gonna try and compete with you on some stamp stuff coming up, but we'll keep that to rest here.
Right.
But you know, I love it, man. That's probably where we're gonna start to lean towards. I'm gonna, you know, through all the trades of stuff that we've done, polishing, staining, overlays, vertical carving, countertops. I mean, I went to so many classes, it's crazy, but I've met so many cool people, and I've learned a lot of stuff that transfers over. Might not be that exact thing, but it transfers over and it helps you hone your craft, man. You know, your knowledge. If you're not still learning, then, you know, you're kind of falling backwards, you know. So I'm excited to kind of implement and try to narrow down our field of what we do and become streamlined with just 2, maybe 3 things. And I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to dabble in it, you know. A little nervous. I've never been scared to try anything. All I can do is fail and get back up, you know, and go again. So it seems pretty daunting, but I have some pretty good people surrounding me, man, and my networking that I've called on them, and surprisingly they're pretty, you know, open armed to come learn with them. You know, I've come work for a couple weeks for free to, you know, learn a couple little tips here and there, and I study. I watch videos at night. my wife drive her crazy because I'm always trying to learn something new off some YouTube channel or some training video that I get from somewhere. And so, you know, I just want to be the best where I'm at, you know, the best I can be. And so
that's what I've always liked about our friendship, Kipp. And, you know, I'm sure you're going to get more friend requests after this here. So where can people get a hold of you the easiest? Through your social media or what? Lamberson Construction?
Yep. LambersonConstruction.com is our website. You can hit us up, Facebook or Instagram. Both of them are Lamberson Construction. You know, I don't have TikTok. I don't know how to navigate that yet. I'm going to try and get into that. And I'm started making some of the reels. I feel silly on there sometimes making reels on Instagram, but the guys, you know, I can remember probably 3 or 4 years ago, maybe now, I don't know. I'd always be taking little video clips, put them on there, and Aaron, I'd be like, "Hey, we're going live," you know, and kind of give him the heads up, you know, no crazy talk or noises, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how many retakes I did because he would just mess with me on purpose, you know, always giving me a hard time. So
yeah, keep it PG.
Gee, what's up, man? But no, I'm hoping to maybe do some. I'm hoping to dabble more into some of that advertising with some of that, reaching a different network level with, you know, some of that stuff, and it's fun, man. You know, the hardest part for me is to do to wear so many hats, you know. So there's a couple of things that Danny and I talked about earlier, you know, the top 3 things, some of the stuff about what was a hard learning thing for me or something that happened in 21. And I had the hard conversation one night. The lady that did my books helped me out with my emails, helped me, you know, with the business side of stuff. She had to tell me that she wasn't going to be able to do that stuff for me this coming year because there's a little conflict of interest. She works for a big company and kind of helped me out on the side, you know. So that was pretty awesome to have her on my side for the last 4 or 5 years. And so the takeaway from that, though, is I had to force myself to learn bookkeeping, understanding taxes. I started to look more into doing some investment stuff for retirement for the guys. You know, we're only getting older. And I want to do stuff that will help them, you know, as well as me. I want to take care of them just like, you know, the company's taking care of myself. So, you know, that's kind of one of the big things of 21 that was a learning, you know, or a experience that I had that was kind of hard to take, you know, especially at the end of the year. Like, man,
somebody's asking, what's your favorite way to reward your guys? I always see you taking them out to lunch and stuff. Is that one of your top items? You got a favorite Mexican food place there in Holton?
Oh man, you know, man, I'm a big believer in putting money back into the area that you're working, you know, that community. And all the little towns around us are small, you know, and everybody works their ass off for it no matter where they live. But you know, if I get the chance and with our trade, man, you work it, there ain't no set lunchtime.
No.
You call the call the trucks in, we're pouring mud, right? And my guys, man, they don't never say nothing, you know, about, hey man, we're gonna take lunch today, you know. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the hell out of that because they're on board, you know, and that's cool to me. So yeah, when we get a hard pour, man, I'm gonna what's a lunch, you know?
I know.
When these guys are grinding, helping you build a business that is helping them also, but what's taking them, you know, what's that gonna, is that really hurting your pocket? Some people, I get it, dude. I started and I didn't have anything when I started out, you know. I know what it's like to be tight growing your business, but when you get to the point where you can, you know, give you guys a lunch, you know, and I do it more than once a week, you know. They bust their ass for me, and I think that's pretty, sign of appreciation to them, I feel like. And
that's a good way for a small business to compete too. Like you said, you may not have health insurance or some other things right now, but you can do those things to compete in that workplace and make it a good place for your guys, your individual employees to work. That means a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. What a great conversation we've had here, gentlemen. And what I want to say is, first and foremost, Kipp, thank you so much for making the time. I know you're out in cold Philadelphia right now, but great. I mean, we've had so much great feedback. Like Will said, people are gonna follow you and connect with you on social media. But anyone listening to this, Kipp is gonna be there. He's bringing an employee or two, if I'm not mistaken. You're bringing some people with you. I would encourage anyone that is interested, doesn't matter where you're at in your business journey, to come and network with like-minded individuals, because like Kipp said, this has been a stepping stone for him to see what's out there, what's possible. Anything you want to add, Kipp, for anyone on the fence in coming out and hanging out with us at Flatwork Kings?
If you're in a business and if you think you know it all, you don't. Bottom line. So if you're not trying to see, because I'm getting up there towards an old dog in the show anymore, at 40. I mean, there's so many young dudes that are out there, that ones that are working anyway, they're young, and there's always an innovative way to do something, and they're going to find it, and that's how everything grows. That's how things, the things expand, and the market gets pushed to another level. You got to have somebody that's not stuck in an old way to advance it. And that's cool to me. But if you're not trying to get to some of these seminars and learn new stuff, from other people, there's 9 ways to skin a cat. And, it ain't just one, not one size shoe fits all, per se. And there's so many people that come to this deal that have so much knowledge. If you're not open to it, man, then, just too close-minded, and that's a bad thing. I feel sorry for you, but I would highly recommend going to the Flatwork Kings. As if you don't take 100 things away from there, you're not listening. You're not writing down stuff, because I couldn't even fill out the rest of my notepad is full with every little idea that I hear somebody talk about. I still go back looking on it. I still have my paperwork from the original one I went to, man. I mean, I still try to learn from stuff, so pretty cool.
Thanks for that, Kit.
Yeah. And this year is only going to get better, and we're going to have a lot of exciting things. I have something special for Kipp and anyone else that attends here, especially if you're in a small town, you think that there are no jobs within your service area. I want to help you find out for your own how you can reach more potential clients and get them to come to you, actually asking for you to do their patios, yards, driveways, pool decks, whatever it is that you do. So we're going to be diving into that a little bit more. Thanks to Will Mattingly here. And again, Will, any last words, any last question here you got for us to wrap it, bring it home for us?
Oh, that's it, man. I'm just so excited. I'm excited to keep doing these little shows here as often as we can. Kipp, you're an awesome friend and a comrade in the industry. You've been a huge asset to the industry. You don't give yourself any credit. You're a super humble guy, but just know that you make up a big space in this world that we call Flatwork Kings, and it's just an honor to be here tonight. Danny, I'm excited to have you host us. You got the energy and the personality that we need to lead the conversation. But again, February 5th and 6th, I just look forward to an awesome event with a lot of knowledge going around.
Yep. Awesome. All right, everyone. If you could go ahead and just let Kipp know how well he did in the interview. Anyways, Kipp, thank you for keeping it real, man. Really appreciate you. And we'll be back for more with Flatwork Kings. Guys, I'll see you in a couple of days.